most of what I eat is refined sugar, and we're starting to introduce Hector to, like, would you like a little of what we're eating?
Right.
Which, as everyone knows, is a very time-honored training tactic that produces good dogs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so we're starting to be like, well, what? You can have a little something, something.
If you walk to the elevator, you can have a little something, something.
But really, it's more like, God, you look so cute, and I'm already eating, so might as well.
He has been getting, he's been, like, I feel like when he was just born, he was, like, not interested in human food, and now he's like,
wait a
hello.
second. Yeah. It's like, I know what you eat is better than what I
Yeah.
eat. And it's because we've started introducing him. But most of what I eat is refined sugar. And
Right.
for whatever reason, Mittens draws the line with the dog. He's like, don't give him that. Not
Molly,
a
that makes-
jelly bean for the dog.
Yeah,
And I'm
duh.
like, I'm eating it. Do you not worry about your one and only wife? But it's like, don't give the dog. And he's really worried about the dog's diet because of my diet.
Well, I think giving a dog a jelly bean
Okay, call the police.
is crazy.
What are you talking about?
Because to me, jelly beans are in the same... I know chocolate has a specific effect on dogs.
yeah, death.
But it's in the same family. Jelly beans are in the same family as brownies to me. So
Well,
I'm
how
saying
about
brownies
this?
because my dog ate 26 brownies at my 8th grade graduation party and lived.
And lived. Yeah, she was unkillable.
She was unkillable, but sorry. I was just saying that because I feel like chocolate and... So I feel like they shouldn't have... I do feel that they shouldn't have refined
Well, how about this? I was having an artisanal cookie last night. You know, one of those, like, pure, like the long cigar
Yeah,
cookies.
yes, yeah.
Wafer on the outside, filling on the end.
Yeah.
Lemon. And I'm thinking, this is pretty good. Hector would probably like some. Mittens on that account goes, yeah, sure.
Well, because I was just about to say, yeah, I think that's fine.
Why? You guys
don't
are both
know.
reading from some kind of manual that I don't have access to. Because I guarantee the sugar content in that was just as high.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like, oh, lemon. It's good for the puppy to have a little lemon. Scurvy.
Okay, the jelly bean could have been lemon flavored. You
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
it's also got like a red lemon.
Have you ever toured the Jelly Belly factory in Wisconsin? Because I have.
No, you know I haven't. So you know the ingredients.
I don't. I don't.
I just can't imagine the way that I feel after eating a bunch of jelly beans is bad. So I can't imagine that like
Skill
in
issue.
in a tiny little guy.
Yeah.
A mass of jelly beans is better.
I don't know why the lemon cookie clears the bar.
I agree. It's because it's close to a milk bone.
And meanwhile, Mittens is out there saying that Hector can't have a pup cup until he's
If you
6
guys
months
are
old.
feeding him human cookies and jelly beans, the guy can have a pup cup.
I don't know what illusion you're under that a pup cup is somehow for dogs, but it's literally a cup of human whipped cream.
Okay, it's been branded pup cup and like
Yes.
every
But when
dog in
you say
America has had
human
one.
Totally. But human cookie, it's also human whipped cream.
For sure, but I'm just like, that is definitely not as bad
No.
as a pirouette,
Big Pup
a
Cup
Pepperidge
got
Farm
you.
cookie.
Big Pup Cups branding has successfully suckered you in.
You're probably right, but
Well.
I just feel like if he is eating jelly beans, a little dairy couldn't hurt.
No, right. And my mom famously eats peanut M&Ms with the dog.
That
Pops one in her mouth, one in his.
has she ever worried about what that's
No.
doing?
Sorry. Barry is similar to your childhood dog,
Unkillable.
Lucy. Unkillable, yeah.
Well, I'm excited for Hector to have the pup cup whenever that comes down the pipeline.
And listen, I'm like, let's just get it over with. Let's break
I
the
think that
seal.
would get him out the door too. Look, we're going to Starbucks.
Oh, what? So what Siege is referencing is that we can't get the dog from the door to the elevator. It's like this one leg of the total going out experience that he refuses to walk through because he's been carried for his young adult life so far. But so you're suggesting Seriously, just like anytime I want to take him out, I run outside, kind of prep a pup cup by the elevator.
I was thinking tomorrow, for instance, you take him to go get a pup cup, and you say the whole time, "Oh, we're going to get a pup cup. We're going to get a pup cup."
Do you think he has that kind of like
Yes.
long-term planning and object permanence? Really?
Yes, because I think he knows that I was late to the game on not carrying him to the elevator. Like
He was taking advantage of you?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I think he of course he can learn things. He knows his name.
Of course he can learn. He can grow.
Yes.
People can change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very malleable, Hector.
I hope so. These are the years.
I hope you're reading to him every night. We do have a literacy crisis.
Yeah. When we were warming up, I did say I'm going to try to be a more present parent tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. So what have you been up to?
Let's see. I'm kind of preoccupied right now by the fact that I got like an attack in my inbox today from my landlord.
Yeah. Anthrax, right?
Yeah. They're tearing the whole building down. No, I got a rent increase that shocked me, frankly.
Yeah.
It's a 12% increase on my rent.
What the fuck?
Which I think is crazy. And like
12%?
Yeah.
That's criminal.
Yeah. And it's not like the end of the world. It's a rent.
No, it's fucked up. You know what? And most people in your building are like over 70 and have cancer.
Which maybe I should move, if I'm just connecting the dots here.
You live in a cluster.
Yeah.
No, but if it's happening to you, it's happening to them.
I know, I thought of that. And yeah, my neighbors are like, but I don't know, because I think they must be under some kind of deal, but I always kind of assumed it was like we were all just cool with each other.
Oh, so what, you're being had while the olds get to just sit in there?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because I told you, I have this, actually, oh my God, I have not seen her in so long.
Uh-oh.
My upstairs neighbor.
The package czar?
No.
Oh.
Package czar, she's
at
around. Her name was Iris. And she lives on like the top floor, and I used to see her quite a bit.
The penthouse.
Yeah. She would take breaks on the stairs. Oh, hard to watch. But she was so nice. And she told me once, I was like, oh, I'm waiting on my lease renewal. She was like asking if I was going to stay. And I was like, oh, I'm waiting on my lease renewal, and then we'll see. And she was like, just don't ever ask for a lease renewal.
It's not something you ask for.
I know. She was like, you'll just be here for 3 decades.
Okay.
Just don't ask. And I was like...
I know I'm quickly changing my tune from unionize and protect the elderly to what the fuck, because I'm sorry, every old person has a sweetheart deal with America.
Yeah.
Where they just like, houses cost $1 and...
it's crazy. The way she said it so matter-of-factly, too, she was like, you just don't ask.
You live in the same building as her.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of me thinks, like, the management company has some kind of, like, grandfather clause. I don't know.
The New York City Council voted this week to raise stabilized rents.
I did see that.
Hating that. Hating the vibe that we're
hating
on.
the whole thing. I definitely can still afford the rent, but I'm
hell yeah, money bag.
I've mentioned it before that they have been probably undercharging me.
I've mentioned before I'm a woman of means,
which is obvious, of course, but I feel like I should say it.
Well, no, just because you are one person who was able to live in the city, like, not undercharging. Like, it was still a lot of money. It's always been a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. Relative to any other place in the world, it's absurd.
It's just that everything's gotten out of hand.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to fight it.
Yeah, do.
Yeah, but I'm just like, ugh, another thing.
Is it worth chatting? I mean, your neighbors are chatty.
It could be worth. I just don't. It's hard to know because like the old people have been there forever. My next door neighbor did just add me on Facebook, so
that could be good.
That could be something.
Yeah.
But the younger people haven't been there as long as I have, really. So there's one guy I see a lot. So maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's just something that's sort of
And what does this mean for the reno?
Exactly. That's what everyone is asking.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the renovation?
Totally.
It's going to eat into the budget, which was already getting eaten into with the tariffs.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see. But
Well, and maybe if they keep pushing your buttons like this, it's not worth investing in that home.
or maybe I knock a wall down. Fuck the security deposit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably wasn't getting it back after 5 years anyway.
No, you will. We always do, really.
I guess.
Kinda. Crooks. Landlords are crooks.
They are. I also separately am feeling like I'm turning into my neighbors, old, angry. But no, I say it with so much love. But like, and I don't know if this is a 30 thing, but lately, in like, at like spaces, entertainment spaces.
What, like the trampoline park?
Yeah.
You're feeling a crick in your knee?
Oh my god, yes, but not even that.
Also, she like showed up tonight bandaged.
I do feel like I keep like flashing it. But yeah, no, I've been feeling lately in entertainment spaces that I'm turning like old and mean.
Gonna need a one-click deeper on
Yeah.
entertainment spaces.
No, I can do that for you. So last week I went to see the Lucy Dacus concert at
Hell
Radio
yeah.
City, which was fabulous.
I thought you saw Lizzie McAlpine. Was that a few weeks ago?
That was like a year ago.
So sorry.
Which is totally okay. But I was going to reference that show.
Oh, sorry.
That's
okay.
probably what you're thinking.
Totally.
I went to the Lizzie McAlpine show like last year at Radio City, and it was just like the best show I've ever been to, and it was a seated experience, which I think kind of Radio City warrants, because it's like kind of like, I don't know,
It's
just
not
like
a dance stadium.
Right. It's like where you go to like see a comedian, really, I feel
right.
like. Or like, I don't know, it's just not really,
Yeah.
or like an orchestra. I feel
Or
like
like a panel, even.
kill me.
Okay, we have seen panels together. Have we
Have you
not?
really?
Have I not been to like the 92nd Street Y with you?
Oh, I thought you meant at Radio City.
Oh, no. Just don't act like you're above panel.
No, God, Lord knows I'm not. So yeah, I went. Her whole deal was like, she doesn't really like performing.
Lizzie McAlpine.
Yeah, Lizzie McAlpine.
Yeah.
So it was like she was like, I'm gonna sit, and so
And
then
you should
everyone
too.
just did. She didn't even say. Everyone just sat.
People responded to that, the right energy.
And also, she does a lot of like, she's big on like, she just is like a musician. I feel like, so she's really into like the instrumentation. She's wearing headphones the whole time.
Cool.
It's like very, so that kind of set my expectations for, because Lucy Dacus is also kind of like low vibes,
Yeah.
not like dancey, except for a couple songs.
Yeah.
But as soon as the second opener went up, these like Gen Z girls, I think they must have been like oldest 19. And I was a little bit like, how are you here?
A 19-year-old?
Yeah, kind of. I was like, Lucy Dacus feels like she should be for like 30-year-olds like myself.
Okay.
Like, I just don't know how a 19-year-old found her. It's
I
kind
think
of
Phoebe Bridgers was probably an entry point for a lot
I
of
guess
them.
that Phoebe Bridgers also feels like she shouldn't be for...
My teen, well, I guess he's 20, but my youngest brother was a big Phoebe Bridgers head, even in high school.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I find this shocking.
And he went to an all-boys school, so it, like, I think it must have been pretty mainstream.
Okay, so this is really rocking my world a little bit.
Sorry.
Like, no, it's good, because I was like, this is, how did you get here? Did someone drive you here? Like, I'm so confused. And then I was like, maybe they're older than I thought, but then the way they were dancing, I was like, they're so young.
Were they shaking their asses?
No, because now Gen Z, have you seen, like, people make fun of Gen Z on TikTok, how, like, when they want to emphasize that the song lyrics are really good, they go, like, bridge over water, I am jumping off. Like, they do hand.
Oh.
Have you seen people make fun of Gen Z for that?
No.
Which
But that
is
is,
like such
that's
a funny
embarrassing.
read. Yeah. And the
Funny.
girls, like, they were very sweet, but they were like doing coordinated hand dances with each other.
TikTok has really brought the dance up to the hands.
And I'm like, it's sweet because it's like they're embracing their
generation's style of movement.
Sure, but also like they didn't seem to care
That
that
is
a
fair.
30-year-old bitch was behind them being like, corny.
Sit down.
It was sweet though, but they were doing this isn't it, but like clap, like doing like, you know,
crocodile more, cock, cock, cock.
Like campfire dancing. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
And like there was a woman behind me when Katie Gavin, the woman from Muna, was was the second opener, and when she, as I said, when she went up, everyone, like the Gen Z girl, stood.
Okay.
And so the woman behind me goes, "Oh, I thought this was a sitting concert." And
How old would you guess she is?
Well, I went like, right. And she goes, "I'm sorry, I'm 32. I can't." And I was like, I feel you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I kind of feel like, and I don't want to like dictate what everyone does, but I kind of feel like there should be like signs that say like, "This is a sitting song."
Everybody down.
Do your hand dances now. Get them out.
Oh my god. You really want to live in a fashion state.
I know, and then it's like, okay, you're being a fascist.
Sure.
I hate that.
No, I kind of get that. Here's where it comes out for me right now, and I get that this is much larger. It doesn't really break down necessarily on age vectors, but like people who play their phones out loud on the train.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I'm so cantankerous. I'm like I want a script to turn around where it doesn't escalate, because God knows on a train it can escalate.
Yeah.
But I just want to say like, oh, did you forget headphones? Like just something that plants the seed of shame.
Of
self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like people, and it's like not just like I'm listening out loud. It's like I've got my volume all the way up. I want to broadcast what I'm playing.
So I think that's like, it's like a fetish. Not a fetish, it's not the right word, but it's like,
but like I want to invade your space.
It's not about
kind of thing.
me listening to my thing. It's about like
you listening to my thing.
Yes, it's like inconveniencing everyone else around me.
And I don't think that's what those girls were doing with their dancing.
No, but I see where you're going.
Right. It's kind of like I am not for an individualistic society, nor am I a fascist, but I do
Points at me. Nor am I a fascist like Siege.
In fact, no, I think this is a community-based opinion. It's like everyone wants a village, no one wants to be a villager.
Yeah.
Turn your fucking phone volume down.
Yeah.
Put some headphones on.
We need to like we need to have like a public health campaign that's like, you know, it's right next to the condoms that are like publicly displayed. It's like wired headphones.
Meanwhile, I know
condoms.
we need to get back on.
we need to have more condoms around.
Yeah, especially as other birth control methods are being stripped away. Fascism is everywhere.
It's embedded in our culture.
Yeah.
One thing I also thought about at the Lucy Dacus concert was like
at Steve Aoki.
Yeah, was like, to the point of these people not wearing headphones. I was like, is part of going to entertainment spaces like concerts, is part of the fun for me to sit there and be like so annoyed at how other people are not doing like properly engaging with the concert, like. And is that what makes it fun for me? And I don't want that to be a yes.
That feels like, that does feel like a type of aging in New York, though.
Totally.
Like, and I think New York specifically, you become like a Fran. You become like, just like, there are ways things work here. And like, you are flying in the face of it. No, I think that's fair. And right now I'm still at a place where I feel self-conscious. When I go to concerts specifically, like I've actually had to like talk to myself a little bit at concerts recently, because I'm like, stop being self-conscious. You're just here to like enjoy. Like, what I love most about live music is like feeling part of like a communal experience, like engaging directly with something everyone's like really vibing with. Yeah. It feels like very like human affirming, like life affirming. And I hate when I have a lens of self-consciousness. Like, it's like maybe if you're with a group of people or like friends you don't know super well or whatever, like you're like, am I dancing
like, oh my
weird?
God, I'm standing. I totally get it. I do the same thing at every concert, and it's like, yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
So now what's upsetting to me is like the way I talk myself down is like, nobody else is paying attention to you. You are.
I'm like, let me tell you about this hand dance that
I saw Molly do. It was so lame. You know, I think that's actually perfectly fair to have critiques of how, because people are impacting your experience of.
Yeah, but I want to dial down my bitch channel a little bit.
Okay.
Like, there's no need. I don't want that to become the focal point of my, much like I don't want to become focused on my own, like, I don't want to have too much self-awareness at a concert, and I don't want to have too much awareness of other people. It's going to be impossible to have the right balance, but something I'm trying to be more aware of.
I got my haircut today, and the woman cutting it had an iPad facing me and her while she cut.
Coco Melon?
No. Eagle Nest Cam. She watches it all day long. She has a few nests she's been following. She said, it took me, I started with bears. No, it started with wolves, got into bears. I really resisted diving into the eagle community. It is intense. I'm like, okay. She's like, no, yeah, the message boards, the discords, it's a contentious community. And I was like, is it like because of the like patriotism tie-in, like the iconography of it all? And she's like, no, I think it's because it's like one of those high drama animals. And eagles, we're learning like a lot of things we assumed about eagles aren't true now that their numbers are back up. Okay. Like they were really a function of scarcity. So like we assumed that eagles were monogamous, for example. Now that there are enough eagles to go around, not so. Au contraire, Pierre.
Wow.
Yeah, we're seeing thruples. We're seeing cheating. We're seeing, drama.
This is really like a study on dating app culture.
Okay, yes. And I immediately went there because, like you're just making chat. You're just making chat with your hairstylist. So I'm like, I immediately draw that same parallel. I'm like, oh my God, like, because the nest we're watching, the dad abandons, or maybe he gets run off it, who knows? But I go, that scoundrel, is he a deadbeat dad? And she goes, well, so actually it's so important to observe, but not judge. And I was like, okay, I need you to give me more surface area to interact with you on. Yeah. This is going to be a long hour.
That's kind of my whole thing.
Yeah. And it was just a little joke.
Yeah.
But we actually then had like a pretty long conversation about how that's a practice. Like she has like specifically tried to use these like animal watch communities as a springboard to practice. Like she's like, because like animals, it's so easy to like kind of check yourself and be like, now, why would I guess when she was back into bear watching, there was a bear named Chunk. And after he woke up from hibernation, he was a young father. Okay? A young father. Tough. And he killed one of his cubs. Okay? He was confused. This season, apparently, no such problems. He's maturing into the role, but the bear community also kind of contentious. They Chunk became enemy number one.
No.
Well, yeah. Well, sure, you're going to kill an adorable but she was like, I was one of Chunk's biggest defenders.
Yeah.
Because he's a bear.
Yeah.
Like,
he didn't know.
I observed. I did not judge.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And I felt like she was trying to get me later. She's like, yeah, one of the eagles like started mating with her dad. I was like, hey!
Isn't that crazy?
She was like, we observe. But maybe that's towards our concert goals too.
Wow.
We can observe without judging.
Yeah, I think that's really hard for me.
Same. I in fact think a lot of my like skill or value as a person is discernment or like having a take.
Yeah, and like making my little observations aloud.
Right. And here she was saying that's actually not the point.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm observing and judging her now.
I am so fascinated that this is what she does during the day. Is watch the Eagles does.
And cut my hair, but yeah.
Right. Well, it's got to be something I guess you can engage with without being
kind
too...
of passively, yeah.
Interesting.
But she was way more locked in than I thought. Like, I was like, like working on my phone or whatever. Yeah. And she'd be like, now, is that Smudge? Like, about one of the eagles, an eagle named Smudge who returned. And I'm like, I don't know.
I just met these eagles. How am I supposed to know?
But the babies are really cute. They're fluffy.
Oh.
They're really sweet.
Is this the season when they...
I think so. Eagles have they've one gestational period a year, it seems like.
Okay.
But they have long lives. So, like, one eagle had, like, 23 different clutches, I think they're called.
Whoa.
In her lifetime.
So probably upwards of 100 babies?
I guess. They don't all make it.
Yeah.
And typically if they don't make it, like, it could be like it's an all or nothing, I think.
Okay.
Weather, tornadoes. She was watching one nest that got taken out by a tornado last
Oh
week.
my god, she's a storm chaser too.
Yeah. But wait, this also happened to you in a movie theater.
Oh, yeah, I don't have to get into that.
Oh,
This one I think I'm definitely right about. Let me just
Okay.
say. I'll say it briefly. So, yeah, I went to see... Yes.
She's laughing at so yeah.
So, yeah, I went to see Sinners. And
Was it good?
It was very good. I think you actually, in terms of, like, horror movies that
I
you
could
could or could not
stomach
watch,
it.
you could definitely watch it. It's
Okay.
really not bad.
Okay.
Also, there's a lot of, like, something we've talked about in the past. There's a lot of, like, humor that
helps.
That helps. And the music part is, like, really interesting. It's, like, very
Cool.
centered on music, and the music's, like, very beautiful.
Okay.
And this is not a unique take. I think people on Twitter have been bemoaning what's going on in movie theaters.
Like, just generally.
Yeah, like, people are not sitting in their assigned seats. I kind of think we should have introduced seat assignments in AMC.
Oh, totally
Yeah.
agree.
It should be
You
first
want to
come,
see? Yeah,
first
go
serve.
get there
We're all paying
early.
the same price.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
It's so difficult to fucking find in the dark.
Oh my god. And then you're the person with your phone flashlight on.
Oh my
like,
god.
And the AMC up here is not properly staffed, which
No.
is probably related to the economy somehow. But it's like the line is always insane to get your snacks.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to be an A-list member, so
Again, a woman of means.
I am a woman of means, so I'm in and out. So that created a backup getting into the movie theater.
All right.
And, you know, everyone, I think, does the 15-minute buffer for previews.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I can be a little late,
Yeah.
you know? People were coming into the movie 15 minutes late. And, like, not just, like, one or two people, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just fine. I'm being cool. But I think at that point, you are not to go to your assigned seat.
You're to find
You
the first
must
open
take
seat.
Whatever is left
Yeah.
that you can easily access.
Yep.
Because I witnessed two people come in who I think they had gone, I could hear because there was a verbal altercation
Oh.
that they had previously gone to their seats, then went to get snacks, and were coming back to their seats.
Oh.
They were sitting on, like, the far end of the row, like, towards, like, the last two seats by the wall.
Okay.
And they came in and they were like, those are our seats. There's a whole row.
Of course. And we're mid-movie. We're
10 minutes into the
we're
movie.
breaking into two.
They were like, we need to get to our seats. And so the whole row had to stand up. And then there was, like, a bit of a fight because
People had taken the seats?
Well, yes. And so I actually forgot about that, but yes. Two people had
Oh.
taken the seats. And then this woman just climbs over to the seat behind her. She was just like, I'm outta
Whatever.
here.
Yeah.
But, like, everyone had to get up. And then it was, like, it was dark, so it was hard to see.
Yeah.
And then the people were
Logistical
annoyed.
nightmare.
So there was, like, a little bit of back and forth about it. And I do think that, first of all, seating assignment culture at AMC has gone too far.
It is an institutional problem, not an individual problem, I believe.
Yes. Which, okay, so we're not fascists.
No, and I'm sorry, when I said fascism, I meant it's the cult of the individual.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be a part of the community watching the movie.
Yeah, yes. And I do think, like, and I hate to be at the movies without my snacks, so I do get it. But I think you have to be like, there's no time.
You gotta make a
You gotta
call.
cut your losses.
Yeah.
Or maybe again, let's put blame on the corporations. Maybe the movie theater needs to be like, popcorn. If you're going to see Sinners, snack time's over.
I do think that the way AMC, like, there are AMC theaters that should not be assigned seating.
Yeah.
And ours is one of them.
Yeah, it was crazy. Have you been consuming anything culture-wise that you would like to speak about?
Yeah, okay, so the stuff I've been consuming this week, like, all kind of maps to our projects.
Okay.
I'm really trying to lock in. I'm trying
Yeah.
to clock in at the locked-in factory. Okay, so I have been... Well, actually, first, I want to talk about a book-related thing that's not, like, directly related to writing, but it was coming across my desk, so
Right.
the people want us to comment.
Yeah.
Now we're recording this, like, we took a week off, whatever. You don't need to know about it, but...
Yeah.
So it's a little delayed even at the time of recording, so it'll be old news, I'm sure, unless it gets a second media life cycle. Who
Right.
knows when it's actually published, because I don't think the book has come out. But
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, there was, like, a blip on TikTok where people were like, hey, Tinks, the TikTok, the the woman made famous by TikTok. Yeah. Personality. And current New York Times bestselling author for her first, like, memoir book.
Yeah.
She's now publishing a novel. I think it's not yet out, but it's, you know, like, set in the Hamptons, and it's her first foray into fiction.
Yeah.
People are saying, the advanced reader copies have gone out, and people are saying, like, this shit's ghost written.
Yeah.
And there were some...
I think she's even admitted that it's ghost written.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. She, like... Yeah, because people called her out for it. Sorry, I don't want to...
No, this is... What?
Yeah, the rabbit hole I went down a few weeks ago when I stumbled upon this was that she did say, oh, yeah. Because I think you were about to get to this point, but, like, it's... I think centers on a gay woman.
Yeah, it's like a sapphic romance.
Yeah, and, like, famously, Tinks is, like, very straight.
Like, her whole brand is built on, like, straight girl guidance.
Yeah. So people were kind of like, this is not, like...
So she admitted it?
Yeah.
That's actually news to me.
So she, and I guess in her acknowledgments, the ghostwriter was, like, the first person she thanked, but I don't think it was, like, very explicit. She wasn't like, and to my ghostwriter. She was just like, to so-and-so who was so helpful, whatever.
Wow.
But people are saying that, like, she was the one who actually wrote. I don't have her name, which is a shame. But I guess she's written a lot of other things that just hasn't gotten the exposure that this book has because it's got Tinks's name on it.
Right.
So people are like, you're messed up for that.
That is nutty.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to imagine this happens actually so much more than we know. But, like, that for fiction, that for contemporary fiction, like, I get ghostwriting for memoir.
Yeah, totally.
Like, yeah. So many people are incapable of writing their own biographies, but their stories people want to hear.
Yeah.
Like, it makes perfect sense. For fucking novels? Like, the audacity. The audacity.
Yeah. I think it comes off so cash grabby to me, where it's like, I want to get credit for writing a book that people will actually like, and I want to get whatever, you know, whatever comes with that. And it's just like, I think it's really embarrassing, honestly.
I think it's deeply embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's all you contributed to the project. Your personal brand.
Yeah. And, like, geez. Just write another memoir.
Right. And now I'm like, did she write that one?
Yeah.
She probably did. I mean, she, like, does all her own content for TikTok, I guess.
I think there's a little bit of a problem with these, like... And I do think a lot of TikTok creators could write...
Yeah.
Can and have written good books.
Yes.
But, like, not everybody...
No. Like, we are so excited for Brooke Averick's book.
Yes.
Averick?
Oh my God.
How do I say her last name?
Averick. Yeah, like, I'm sure that's going to be great.
But we also, like... She's a person who it's so organic to her personal brand and, like, who she is. Like, I would read what she writes because I know she loves this genre so much.
And it's also just clear who could
do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that mean?
No.
It's just, like, from the content you create.
Yeah.
And, like, I do think Tinks's memoir is probably very good. I don't know.
So I wanted to flag just another stat because, you know, like, I'm doing everything I can around the writing because I'm blocked on the writing.
Right.
But I was, like, doing a rabbit hole on tropes. We'll talk about it when we talk about our own projects in this conversation. But, and in that I was also looking, you know, like, what are the categories of romance that are, like, people want to read right now? I just want to give you what you want.
Yeah.
I don't know, but LGBTQ plus romance is, like, the hottest growing, like, the fastest growing kind of, like, subcategory of romance as a genre fiction right now. It grew by 40% from May 22 to May 23. And then, like, if we're looking at 2016 to 2021, I don't know why these are such weird splices of years.
Yeah.
But if we look at 2016, when you and I were still in college, to 2021, when we were in our mid-20s, late 20s, whatever, the LGBTQ plus romance literary category grew by 740%.
Wow.
Like, I think people are like, I think that's actually what has made romance really take off. It's like young readers want more diverse romance
stories that reflect their experiences.
Yeah. And so it feels even ickier that Tinks is like, oh yeah, I'll just cop on that because
I'll hop on.
It all just feels so manufactured. Like you were saying, a money grab.
Yeah,
like it was
it's like
ChatGPT
culture.
This is where most of the money is. So, like let's penetrate this growth audience with a sapphic romance. I know, from this straight ass lady.
Yeah, and like part of me, and I feel like this is like a cover your ass thing that she did. Part of me is like, oh, it's nice that she wanted to tell a story that's not told, but it's like
you didn't tell it.
Yeah, right. And there are other ways to like elevate those stories without just being like, I'm gonna hire someone to write one under my name.
Yeah.
Like, fucked up.
I kind of think so. What have you been reading?
I haven't really. I've been watching. I've been watching and writing, just toiling away at my desk. But I have been watching. I've been rewatching Lenox Hill, which is a documentary on Netflix that's actually so good. I feel like more people need to know about it. It
had like a hot moment when it was first released.
Yeah, I guess it did. I watched it when it first came out. Julia put me onto it. And I, just after the Pitt, I was like, need more medical drama. So I was like, what's something I loved?
Call Lenox Hill. Doctor.
Yeah. Ooh, get me Dr. Robbie.
But Lenox Hill's reality now.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why I'm just loving it. It's so well done. So well done. It follows like the neurosurgery department at Lenox Hill Hospital, here on the Upper East Side. And it was like, I guess, started by this one doctor, I forget, David something.
Lenox Hill was?
The neurosurgery department.
Oh, okay.
It used to be, because I just rewatched it, I can tell you, it used to be like, he described it as a place where you go to be born and to die. It was a very, like, they didn't do anything crazy avant-garde. So neurosurgery, he kind of, like, grew that department.
Cool.
It's a tough field.
For sure.
And he brought in his friend, John Brookvar, which is a name I do remember, and he's, like, describing bringing him on, and he's like, John's a romantic like myself, so he gave up his job at Cornell to do this with me. And I just love describing a job as... I don't think we think of doctors as... or being a doctor as a romantic job. I don't know. I don't. Right. But I kind of liked that idea that it's, like...
Oh, yeah.
It is romantic, and it's, like, also specifically creating something or like building something is romantic, I think. Yes. Like not wanting to just, which is fine, to just want to be a doctor at a hospital and not hit like Dr. John Brockmar's whole thing is like curing this specific kind of brain cancer. He's like dedicated his life to it, and like wanting to do something crazy like that is very romantic to me.
Totally.
And obviously they just tell these really heartbreaking stories of people with brain cancer, and then they also follow 2 pregnant doctors. It's just so fascinating, and it's really filling the Pitt-sized hole in my heart.
Okay, I'm really sold on this. I know you've been pushing the Pitt on me, but
Jupes is the originator of the push.
Of Lenox Hill.
Just to be clear. And then there's a second season. It's not really a second season, but it's the same production. Called Emergency NYC, which is, I'm sure, I mean, I've watched it, but it's even more Pitt-like, if you will. It's just so well done, and it also is kind of helping me with my writing project, because I'm like, that, I think, is the kind of reality show I want the 2 characters to make together, something that's, like, more documentary, I guess, than anything else.
Something that's got real heart.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that's been, and I'm also extremely attracted to all of the old doctors on Lenox Hill.
Nice.
So also filling the Dr. Robbie size hole in my heart.
In your pussy.
yeah. I'm like looking up where they live. It's so toxic. I'm like, the one doctor like sold his Upper East Side apartment. It's actually for sale. He hasn't sold it yet. I'm on Street Easy. I'm looking at his apartment.
Maybe we're interested buyers. Maybe we need to tour the place.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, why is he selling? Is he leaving?
No, I doubt it. He would never leave Lenox Hill. Don't even say that.
Okay, sorry. Wow. No, that's.
And I just love like they follow him like around the hospital, being like, "I've got a case." They call them cases.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can't talk. Got a case." But then he's also like the chair of the department, so like half of his phone calls are like, "We need more money."
Yeah.
It's just fascinating.
Whoa, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
I agree. You don't often think of like doctors' work as romantic, but it is like like, I don't know, like, obviously there's so much minutia and like math and science involved, but it's also so cerebral. Like, these are people who like to think about like big tricky things and solve them. And then they're like, I also think it's a super vocational kind of job. Like, yeah, there's a point in your career where you might make a lot of money, but like there's no amount of money that like actually nets positive for the like human cost you pay.
Yeah, the heartbreak.
Yeah. So I think you have to be like kind of romantic about what you're doing as like a worthy.
Yeah, you're like hoping to like leave the world better, which is crazy, which is like beautiful.
Romantic is all hell.
Yeah.
It's just very different than any job I've ever had.
Oh yeah, I literally, and I was trying to get my mom into the pit while I was home. Yeah. And she tries to pretend that she's like, this is gross, but then she's like, one more episode. But I was like, do you ever think you could have been a doctor? I feel like that's a fun, thought starter that I threw at her.
We could have been lawyers.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. And she was like, I think I'd be really good at figuring out what's wrong with someone. And I thought that was an interesting, to your point about like being problem solvers or whatever, like it's very cerebral. Like she was like, I think I'd be good at that.
Yeah. I also love the, weight she gave your thought starter. That was a well-considered answer.
I acted really well, so I don't know if that was her or me.
And it was such a thoughtful question. Like, of course she's going to give you reciprocal consideration in her answer. Okay. Good for you.
Thanks.
That sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sold. I'll watch your medical dramas.
Come on. Have you not started the Pit yet?
No, I haven't.
Dude, get in the Pit.
With what time? No, I will. This weekend I will.
It's a great way to fall asleep.
It sounds like it would keep me wired for additional hours.
It'll only keep you wired because you're like, more.
Download it, put it, watch it on your computer.
Watch it on my
computer. That's a good idea.
That's actually, I haven't stooped to that level yet. I don't watch video during my commute.
I actually do think people who watch videos, I think less of them.
I do too. Sorry.
I'm like, read a book.
I know.
But you should watch it.
We should observe and not judge.
Yes.
But for me, that has been a personal lie. Something I read this week during my commute, though, I want to talk about briefly. Again, I'm just trying to like talk myself into the writing and like confidence in the writing, like my own writing, that is. So, been doing a lot of like reading around it, and I returned to, because I knew it was short, a romance thing I read like in the past few years that like really stuck out to me. I remember reading it for the first time and being like, I loved that. And I think I've mentioned this before, like Kindle will do these like collections around holidays sometimes where they ask like prominent romance authors to do like a short, like a novella on the theme to that holiday. And this one was a Christina Lauren project related to Valentine's Day. It was one of the Valentine's Day ones. It's called The Exception to the Rule. Okay. And then here's some things I really liked about it, just as like a point of reference. It's really good. It's like 100 pages at most. I fucking eat it up. Yeah. It held up in my reread.
Okay, I love that.
Here's what I like. I really like, so it starts as an epistolary romance, which I haven't read a lot of, but
just like for people who might not know, could you explain what an epistolary romance is?
So it starts in an exchange of letters.
Oh, of course.
Or
I knew it was religious in nature.
Okay, like totally. Wait.
Sorry.
No. What is the religious?
I feel like apostle? Episcopalian as well.
Pescatarian? No, it's a St. Paul thing.
Apostle?
A book of the New Testament in the form of a letter from an apostle.
Yes, letters.
An epistle.
Yeah. The apostles write the epistles. And then the apostle pisses.
Go piss, epistle. Right. So it's email exchanges.
Okay.
And it's actually so like kind of cutesy. They are in the same school system, the same high school system, and one emails the other.
You haven't told me about this. It's pinging.
Yeah. One emails the other thinking it's a teacher asking for a reading thing or something. And then that starts a little exchange, but it's Valentine's Day when he sends the first note. And so then they start just passing a note back and forth every Valentine's Day. So we get them over the span of years, and at first it's just the Valentine's Day, hey. And then, you know, they start kind of sharing a little bit more, and they develop this, you know, what's it called? You've got a friend you write to.
You've got a little guy you write emails to. A job? Sorry, a pen pal, yes.
So funny. Right. A pen pal. And I don't want to spoil anything, but then obviously it goes from email to IRL.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. Okay, so I thought the emails were a really nice vehicle for, like, understanding them quickly. It's like dialogue, but you have the conceit of the written word. So it's, like, more structured dialogue. It's, like, the character believably would have, like, deliberated and made, like, certain choices. And so it becomes, like, less of a, like, do people talk like this? And more of a, like, do people write emails like this? Which is a different bar.
I just need to say I went on a similar journey where I've decided I'm going to text messaging is going to be a big part of mine.
Love.
Yeah. Because I think it's like, it's an easier somehow, maybe not easier, but like something I can wrap my hands around.
Yeah, I text.
Exactly. I think we're quite good at it.
We talk.
Well, not at responding to text with regularity, but to typing.
Little zinger here or there.
Yeah, contributing to a group chat.
That's why that we stay in them. We don't get kicked out.
Yeah.
It's not for participation. I know that. No, yeah, so I liked that part. It played with first person perspective and did flip between the two at a certain point. This is something I'm kind of struggling with generally in my writing. I feel like first person it's just easier to give personality earlier. Yeah. And because I'm still early in my book, I'd say I'm at the still not yet at the 10% mark. Like, I'm writing it in third person. Like
oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah. And that reaction kind of affirms my self-consciousness.
We listen and we don't judge. Or what were we saying?
We listen.
Earlier.
We observe without judgment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is just the TikTok.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We talked ourselves into a TikTok. We are just like the Gen Z hand dancers.
We listen and we don't. You know, I'm nervous because I'm like, am I really leaving a lot on the table by not, like, having it come from the brain of my protagonist?
May I ask, why are you doing third person?
It felt more organic to me as a writer, but it isn't reading organic.
I think
what? I'm going to have to go redo all the words I already did?
That's an easy fix.
To change the
it's a long fix, but...
I have a thought on this.
Yes.
You can do, like, the inner thoughts of character, of, like, the main character from an omniscient point of view.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's how Harry Potter's written.
Right.
It's third person, but you get Harry's, like...
Yeah, like, you can slip into... It's sort of like... It's almost like 1.5 person.
No, right. And it's third-party omniscient. Like, we know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Primarily what she's thinking. It's focused. But, like... It just, you know, like, the writing exercise we did a few weeks ago, you had written yours in first person. Yeah. I'd written mine in third. I feel like, especially, like, the small container of that exercise, like, through this point I'm trying to make into relief, like, yours was immediately so much more personality because we're hearing her. Whereas, like, I don't know, I feel like takes maybe more total surface area to, like, develop the character as much if you're not in her head, you're not immediately engrossed in her voice.
I do think first person is easier. Like, I mean, I haven't tried doing third person just because, like, I'm not.
Well, now I'm feeling weird about it. And I'm worried I should go fix it.
I'm sure that it might just take... if it makes you feel better, it's not... I still don't know my character, I don't think, any better because I'm doing first person. No. It's just easier to write, maybe.
It was just something I liked in this book, too, and I was like, something to consider. The other things I liked, they go from, like, being in a high school, like, one has already graduated at the time, like, whatever. But they go through college and then into grad school. The specificity about the schools, it's not like made-up university. Yeah. It's like, like, and it's also cute because in their email exchange, they're withholding details from one another because they, like, make up these arbitrary rules. But it's like, you know, we're strangers on the internet. Like, that happened into each other's inboxes by coincidence. But then they keep upholding the rule just, like, for fun and flirting, maybe.
Yeah.
So they're being coy about what schools they end up going to, but then eventually, like, as they start to break down the rules they share, and, like, he rowed at UW, she played lacrosse at BC, they both end up at Penn, like, but it's all, like, very believable to, like,
things people do,
and the academia is, like, kind of central to, like, how they grow up, because they, like, do choose a science field. They're, like, doing labs at Penn, and turns out he's her TA. Can you even believe?
I really want to read this.
It's so fucking good. But I really liked the specificity and the true to lifeness of the school placements. It really helped ground the characters for me. I really like that she's described as tall, and he's got a thing for tall women.
Oh my god.
Was there anything else I really liked?
Just to your point about, like, specificity, I feel like sometimes it's hard to, like, specificity can go in a bad direction. I guess what you're saying with like sometimes, like, the Kiss Countdown, the astronaut book I read, her thing was, like, she loves coffee with a little bit of cinnamon.
Which
and it's
sounds
like,
great.
It does sound great, but it's like, how many times do I need to hear?
Oh, shut up.
Right, that you love coffee with cinnamon. Like,
right.
I am wary of giving someone these, like, characteristics or habits or, like, specific things that don't actually give dimension.
Oh my god, we talked in the car about how I have my main character's boss drinking tea.
Oh,
Why?
yeah, sorry. That felt like a...
You know, that felt like a personal attack.
Sorry,
again.
no.
Yeah.
I've been kind of doing that with mine, too, where I'm like, she just needs caffeine because she has such a crazy job. Like, and I'm like, shut up.
The number of times I've told myself, like, shut up as
Shut
I'm writing. Yeah. Which I feel is like a productive editor's voice in my head. But also, she's mean.
She's so mean.
Oh, yeah.
She is not just sitting and not judging.
She's observing.
Why can't I get that phrase down? She's observing and judging.
Well, so now that we're talking about the writing, I mean, let's talk about it.
Let's get into it. So our deadline, so Jupes gave us a very detailed, beautiful calendar. She's a little upset.
Generous dictator Jupes gave us a very kind and benevolent.
You got us presents?
We got presents? We don't get them.
Because we didn't meet our deadline.
No.
So our first one was write 10.5k words by the end of April, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. Did you?
Nor did I. You made it further than I.
And that's okay, because let me just say, I made it to like 7.5k words. That's
I made it to 4.
I think that's, honestly, it started going really downhill for me at around, because this weekend I was making progress. We got to 7.5k, but around 6k I was losing the thread big time. I was like, what is happening?
And that's like around when you kind of like have your catalyst moment, right? If we're talking save the cat steps.
Yeah, I think that's probably around where she gets her catalyst. And I just feel like the getting her from catalyst to break into 2 was just like pulling teeth. And I had to eventually step back at 7.5k and say, okay, I'm just writing words to meet this deadline, but I'm not actually making progress I'm proud of, or like I think I'm making progress that's going to have to be undone.
Okay.
So I need to step away.
Okay.
And by step away, I mean step back into the outline, which is what I did.
Okay.
Because I was just like, first of all, I said this to you, but I'm just like adding plot points, like they just are coming to me, but they're not. There's no reason. I'm giving her, you know, like her brother is texting her and she doesn't talk to her brother, and it's like, why? And I can't just be doing that. I don't think.
I just did that today. I tossed in a weird phone call with a mom.
Right. So it's like you can't toss in the weird phone call with mom unless you know what mom did.
Or, like, what's gonna happen with mom?
Right.
Just talk to mom once. Chapter 3.
Moms around the country
again.
are like, yes!
Come on, more. And in writing mom, and I know my mom will listen to this, I'm like already like, oh, she's gonna think it's about her.
Oh,
She's gonna be like,
same.
well, and why was she kind of an anxious character?
Why did she feed the dog peanut M&Ms?
Yeah, no, quite literally in the book, they are. She's sharing a snack with the dog.
Which is great.
But the character isn't you, mom.
Yeah. Well, so I was like, you know, we've talked about this before. I was like, I gotta figure out what the trauma is. Because, like, there are certain things I'm like, we really, like, now is the time.
Yeah.
Because if I keep writing fun and games, I don't even know if I'm at fun and games, to be honest. I'm in the fun house right now. I'm in the loony bin.
Yeah.
I was like, if I keep going down this road and I don't know the answers to these questions, it's going to be a problem.
Yes.
So, one was figuring out her family trauma, which I think I'm circling in on.
Okay.
But I will say, I was like, I outlined like 3 options, and they were all like personal things I've been through. So I was like, if I do this one, my parents will ultimately be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I kind of did like a spin on it.
Okay.
It's not really.
That's what it is, though. That's what it is.
It's not like real, like, it's not. But like, it is kind of coming from, it's her, how she feels is similar.
Yeah.
And like, I guess the ingredients are not similar, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I think that's a really important thing I'm coming to terms with, where it's like, I'm going to bring in details that are true to life. Like, it's like, of course, like, it's funny that my mom shares a snack with my dog. Like, that's a detail
That's a nice
I think
homage.
that belongs, like, that's like an interesting texture to a person. That doesn't mean the rest of that character is reflective of that person.
Yes.
And I think of, like, I kind of, like, dug into Erin when a project she had done a while ago, like a screenplay, had a character that was her roommate and had, like, other things that were true to my relationship with her.
Yeah.
But she was, like, a huge slut. And I was like, hey?
Do we need to dog?
Right. But no, I was...
Meanwhile, I'm like, can you please make me a huge slut? Like, let's manifest something here. Come on.
No, but, like, now that I'm on the other side as the, like, actual creator, it's like, no, dude. Like, yeah, I pulled some details because, like, it's super helpful to have this context of having a roommate that's my friend and whatever. But that doesn't make the roommate in my screenplay or whatever.
Yeah, you are a person with interesting things about you that I can use. No offense, no offense to my friends and family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Truly. This is weird.
Yeah.
Can I take a talk? This is kind of sad. I reached a point in writing where I was like, have I always been bad at writing? Like, did I gaslight myself into thinking, like, this was a good project to take on? And am I in way too deep? There, we have a fucking podcast.
I had not like, am I a bad writer, but I had this weekend I was like, I can't do this. I actually don't think I have. Said I can do this, and I really don't think I can. But yeah.
Yes, of course.
But now
you can.
I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. But so, like, I kind of went on, like, an evidence-seeking journey.
Yeah.
And I was looking for things I'd written in the past. Like, no, really, was I, like, do I have, like, beer goggles on? Like, I don't know. And so we were trying to break into my college laptop recently to get some pictures off it. Still want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I realized, get this, Google Docs wasn't, like, the main mode of, like, what we drafted in college. We're that old.
We were told a lie in 2013, which was that you must have Microsoft Office on your computer. I think it was right before, because by the end of college, I think we were using Google Docs.
The only Google Docs I have in my, like, school email drive are from our senior year.
Yeah.
Up until then. Yeah. It is, and it's very limited. It's like second semester, senior year.
It's our screenwriting class.
Some of that. And then I was looking for something specific from a creative writing class I took my senior year. Did not find it, but did find another piece I had emailed to my professor, which, like, I went back and the email itself was so alarming to me. I was like, who was she? I think I had maybe in the class said, like, my favorite social platform is Venmo, because it's like, it's where you get the real tea. And my professor was like, this is so intriguing. Like, what kind of stuff is on Venmo? So in passing in my final project by email, I'd included a number of screenshots of my Venmo feed. I was like, here's an example of like the good shit you can find on there. These Venmo screenshots included people being like, here, fuckhead. So yeah, weird time. But I had one of like the final, I think, had just been like, I need a certain number of pages, but it can be spread across as many different pieces as you want. So I had kind of done a number of short pieces because it was end of senior year.
Yeah.
And one of them was a dialogue only, like 3-pager I had done. That was like a fledgling couple kind of like having an argument about meeting his family.
Fun.
And it drew a lot on like my early relationship with Mittens, the man I went on to marry, like, but it was so different. Like, but I recognized it was fun to look at it at 30 and be like, oh wait, I recognize so much of like how I felt about meeting his family or like that being a big jump, whatever. But then it was repackaged quite differently. So like, I don't know, being on both the writer and subject side of that particular project, I was like, oh, like, okay, I can see where it's referential, but not true to life. Anyway.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
I was doing this like, I was like digging to see if I was like ever okay at writing. Honestly, it didn't.
Ever okay.
Yeah. Ever okay. Period. No.
That's a no.
Yeah. And it did make me feel like, okay, no, like I opened some of my like, you know, like a paper that's like an actual analysis of a text. What would you call it? Fuck.
An English paper?
Yeah, like I opened like one of those.
Yeah.
Damn. Like it was from senior year, don't get me wrong, but it was like good.
Good, yeah.
It was good writing. And I was like, I don't know if I write like this. Like if anything, I was like,
I definitely
no,
couldn't write into academic.
No.
God, no. Yeah.
No, but I did it. So it was like, okay, maybe we're going to be okay, whatever. But then I was like, wait, there's one piece I need to find, because I remember the critique being so disarming to me.
Yeah.
I had written this piece for like, you know, in-person review in the creative writing class. Like if it was your turn that week, you'd bring printouts for everyone, distribute it. It'd be like 10 to 15 pages. They would have had to have read it before class, and then you spend the whole class talking just about your piece. Yes. And there were like some impressive writers in the class that I wanted to impress. And I really liked this professor. That's why I sent her my Venmo screenshots.
Yeah.
But this particular piece I had written, I don't know why, it was just like what came into my head, but it was like kind of like a reverse workplace sexual harassment story. You've got a female boss.
Baby girl?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And I remember like it was pretty overt. Like I like had limited in-office experience at that time. I was a senior in college. It was like a handful of internships, but so like the main critique I got from the professor was like, it needs more weirdness. Like right now it is like textbook sexual harassment in a few instances, and often like people behaving like this are like actually weirder. Like it's like, give me something like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But then some of the students in the class literally missed that it was a story about sexual harassment.
What?
And so like my main takeaway, I am not kidding, the delta between the readers, like my professor versus like a handful of these students, like was so wide.
Yeah.
And then I started to like kind of spin out, like it has stuck with me, and it was bumping around my brain while I was writing.
Yeah. Because
you at once want to write like convincingly human people who like, do weird little things, but then like communicating the point. Like what is motivating my character? Like what, like leaving too much of that to subtext or interpretation is honestly a gamble with a lot of readers. Like writing to the mean is actually, this is going to sound so fucking bitchy, but it's a lot lower than you'd expect. Yeah. And I wanted to find the piece because I was like, no, I'm pretty sure this was like a manual on sexual harassment in the workplace. Yeah. But the main feedback from students had been like, Well, wait.
Are they not into each
And I don't know if that was really more like a comment on consent in 2016.
Right,
but
that is hard to parse out. But I do think you're right. And I think that's why sometimes we get frustrated with romance novels, because we might be looking for a little more subtext and a little less overt text. But, like, I think writing-wise, we gotta err. I think you're making a good point that we have to err on the side of being like, here's her little hobbies and what they mean.
No, literally that. 'Cause, like, you know, like, I am at the, like, still in the one. I've not broken into two. And it is so much, like, establishing the character and, like, what needs to change about her life. And I'm like, yeah, here are all these things that I think are, like, evidence to her being unhappy. But then it's like, do I need to overtly say, like, no, and then also she's, like, so lonely because she's prioritized things that can't be fulfilling to her or people that will never love her back.
Well, I will say, have you gotten to, I'm sure you have, theme stated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a nice cheat code where it's like her friend is like, alone again tonight with your lean cuisine, like, or whatever, you know, like, because I feel like I didn't do a good job with my theme stated, and now that I'm redoing my outline, I'm returning to that, and I'm like, I need to make that actually pretty explicit.
Right. That's a really good note. Like, that's a moment where you have permission.
You have permission.
Yeah.
Not that, like, the audience isn't reading Save the Cat, or the reader isn't reading Save the Cat, but, like, you expect her best friend to say, another lean cuisine tonight? Like, that's a formulaic thing people expect. So I think we get away with it there. And it's also not, like, corny, necessarily. But yeah, I do. I think there are subtle ways to do it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can be subtle about it.
Maybe, or maybe I should just, like, maybe I should try just saying it. And maybe I'm also avoiding, like, writing it explicitly because I'm avoiding committing to it. Like, maybe I don't know her that well. But
that is my issue, is that I don't, like, I wrote a theme stated. One thing I also, like, I had a big realization last night when I was rewriting the outline, where I was like, I had her make a choice that is so unlike her, and I didn't even realize it till last night.
Okay.
Like, I was like, this character that I have in my head, I don't want to say exactly because I'm redoing it.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll just say, like, I had her, like, the whole first chapter is her, like, her best friend being like, are you going to ask for that promotion? Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, this character that I'm writing, like, isn't afraid to ask for a promotion. Like, why did I write that? That's not consistent with her character at all.
Right.
So I had to, like, rewind a lot of that stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
I had to rewind a lot of the thing. Yeah. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but
no, that makes total sense. Like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going back and I'm like, wait, that's dumb. She wouldn't say that.
Yeah, but, like, in the moment, you're just like, oh, I have to make the plot advance.
Right.
So I'm going to have this happen. And it's like, I have to be more thoughtful about how I'm advancing the plot, because it's going to come back. We return to the plotter versus pantser of it all. Like, it's going to come back and pants you.
You can either be the pantser or you can get pantsed.
I want to do the pantsing.
I want to do the pantsing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, what else? You said you had some decisions you wanted to, like, talk through.
Oh, yeah. So, like, there was structural damage to the story that I had to go in and renovate. I had to do a reno.
Yeah.
And, like, I felt like I was trying too hard to manufacture the tension and the relationship between the two characters, like, being like, okay, there has to be a scene where they talk, like, whatever. And so I'm kind of, like, going back to, like, what are ways that I can create natural tension between them? Because, like, you'll know if you listen to my book jacket, it's about them working together on something, so it's, like, forced proximity, but, like, I think they need to have a really specific goal they're working towards, or they each have a specific goal they're working towards, or else I think it's not believable that they are, like, working this closely together on something. And then, so I have mapped out a few different directions that could take that I would like your advice on at a later date. But I think I'm, like, circling the drain, on circling the landing zone, whatever, on, like, on what I think that's going to be, like, what those choices are going to be, which is good. Like, I actually think, as much as I've feared fun and games, starting to think about fun and games...
You were built for fun and games.
Yeah, I'm a fun time.
Yeah.
It turns out that, like, thinking about fun and games really helped. And I was thinking about... And I'm going to reread it. I was going to mention this at the end, but I'm reading the new Emily Henry, and after I finish that, I'm going to reread Beach Read, because I'm like, I'm wary of saying that's my inspiration for the book, but, like, it kind of is.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what I think a really successful romance novel is for me.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of, like, just, like, do a little case study on that as I'm writing.
So fair.
But, like, I think the fun and games in that is really good, because they're, like, teaching each other something, and there's, like...
Right.
They go on these little adventures together,
Yeah.
and it's, like, we don't have to see that... Because I think something, and we talked about... I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. But something we talked about in the car yesterday, we keep referencing this car trip. It was just an Uber.
I was like, we went on a drive yesterday. Do you have a car?
We were in an Uber, and we started talking about all this. But one of my struggles, I think, is that I've chosen baseball and TV production. One thing I know a lot about baseball, and one thing I don't know that much about TV production. And I'm, like, basically trying to create a new show within this book. And I'm like, with Beach Read, they're each writing a book. We don't actually really see the ins and outs of them writing.
No.
And, like, I'm going to have to do some actual talking about it. But, like, what's actually fun about it and interesting about it is these little, like, ways that they teach each other and these little adventures they have. So I started kind of thinking about that.
Completely.
And I have, like, a fun and game that I kind of want to do for that. And there's going to be a lot of texting, as I mentioned.
Excited!
So, yeah, I'm feeling like I think fun and games actually really helped.
My fun and games is, like, concerningly opaque to me right now.
I was like, I don't need to figure that out yet.
Yeah.
Turns out, kind of do.
I do, yeah. I definitely do. I have, like, notionally what it could be.
Right, that's what I had. I was like, well, they'll just make a show. Isn't that enough for you?
Yeah, like, lay off, people.
But it's like, no, that's, like, first of all, that's really hard to it's just boring. It's boring.
Yep.
And then the interesting stuff that people actually want to read is, like, and Julie and I were talking about this with the new Emily Henry, which, again, I don't really want to get into. But, like, the plot is interesting, of course, but, like, you're really writing the chemistry. That's the important stuff.
This is very, very useful as a reminder. Like, getting bogged down in the show, at least that's, like, what they're doing together. That is the, like, forcing function for them to be around each other. I'm getting bogged down in, like, would an investment banker say this? She literally quits her job in the first part of the book.
Okay.
Sorry,
right.
spoiler.
Yes.
But, like, she does.
Yeah.
Like, it's on the book jacket.
Yeah.
So, like, why am I spending so much time making sure that a merger is believable?
Exactly. I feel the same way. I'm like, we don't need to meet every single baseball player on the team. We don't need
Meanwhile, you're, like, mapping the roster and, like, having AI generate hot pictures.
I have baseball cards for all of them. Like, we don't, and I do need to learn the basics of TV production, but we don't need to see them go in every day and do, like, what's actually interesting is, like, the time they spend together meaningfully.
And knowing the contours, like, what I don't want to do is, like, run afoul of my pretense where it's like, well, that's stupid. Like, she doesn't know what that... Like, it's, like, maintaining the contract.
And maintaining believability that, like, this is a person who does this for a living.
Yes.
Whew, yeah.
And so it feels like we do have to do a lot of homework. And then maybe this is the difference. Like, we have to do a lot of homework to, like, be reliable to our reader. Like, we're not going to write someone doing a thing that we don't ourselves understand that we haven't done the research on. But I'm, like, bringing that research to the page right now. No, that stays in my head.
Yeah. And
it's kind of the guardrail for what's on the page. It's not the source text of what's on the page.
We need to put, like, a funnel.
Yeah.
But then it's also, we come back to, like, subtext versus text. And
well, I just feel like such a fucking... I'm like, I did my homework. Do you want to see my homework? It's like they don't actually want to see my homework.
No, they want you... I think it's if they're a TV producer, don't make them, like, be like, hey, what's a camera? You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's making sure it's...
Is the boom on?
Just something they might say.
Booms go on? I thought they just kind of were held
The boom
around.
is the stick.
The boom is the stick, but is the stick like
the stick
electronic?
This is the boom.
Yeah, this is the boom. The boom's
so you're right. Yeah.
But the boom could be resting on something. I see where
No. I meant more like the mic is on the boom.
Right now. Yeah, is there anything else you want to say about the writing of it all?
Well, I think we should kind of, like, maybe reset this has reset my expectations for how long this is going to take. I still do definitely believe, to be clear, that we can do this by the end of the year.
Yes.
I just think
it is May 1.
Yeah. And like, I kind of want to almost stick to Jupes's.
I do too.
But like, I doubt that I'll ever make the deadlines. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
But it is. I did feel the heat this week.
And it was good.
It was good. I need deadlines. I also do think like this has helped me recalibrate the total size of the project.
Yes.
Where like I'm not writing 100,000 pages.
We set ourselves up for a 100,000 word book, and
which far exceeds the average novel length.
Yeah.
I've learned in my Googles.
Did we say it should be 100?
Yeah, we don't. No, we were the ones who said it. Yeah.
We are dumb.
Oh, you think Jupes was like? No, Jupes was just like taking our word for it.
Like,
I was like, most people's first novels are shorter.
Wow.
And you were like, I love a 350-page book.
Okay, so I feel like 80K maybe is kind of where I'm.
Totally. That's like where I tap out, and I don't think I have more to say than that. Maybe I do.
I don't know. I kind of want to leave some flexibility, but I just don't want to like. I think 10.5K was a great goal, and I know I'll get there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't happening last night.
Yeah.
I needed to have a reckoning.
I think it's the first of many. We're gonna keep doing reckonings, but it also feels good to make progress. It feels good to like get through a big blocker.
Yes, it does. And like, even though I'm gonna have to rewrite a lot of the 7.5K I wrote, like, I don't hate the 7.5K I wrote.
Totally,
like, it's not great or good, but it is there,
and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
I kind of like it's fun, and I'm really excited to keep going.
Me too. I'm excited to fix the problems. I'm a little daunted by it, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to dive back in.
Hell yeah.
But I want to keep, like, I think our next one is 30,000 at the end of June. We'll see if that happens. I think it's a good goal.
It's the right milestone to work towards, I
think for me, I'm going to try to hit, like, we talked about this in the car the other day, that like I feel like I'm circling around 500 words per hour, which I know sounds really slow, but
it's exactly the pace I'm.
There's a lot of thinking.
Yeah, I was in this car ride.
Yeah, girl, you were sitting between
you kept being
us,
like,
maybe.
I can't wait to be home.
Yeah.
So I think like I was keeping that in mind, and then I was like, if I try to write like 5 hours a week or 4 hours a week, that's 2 to 2.5K words a week.
Yeah,
like that feels like a pace I can kind of.
I agree.
But we'll see. We will see.
Yes. No, you're right. That's a pace I could do.
Yeah. That's like.
Thank you for breaking that down.
A couple hours after work.
You
a Saturday.
weren't pursuing a degree in math before you were.
People forget.
Boxed out, were you?
Yeah. That's for Aaron's second episode.
Yeah.
All
right. Well.
Shall we?
We shall. What's the most romantic thing that happened to you this week?
Thank you for asking. So as Molly alluded to, we took a couple weeks off, right?
A week.
We took a week off. Well, 2 weeks since we recorded, I think.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't matter.
It's been a while since we've been in the booth.
Yeah. So mine's kind of old, but it is since the last episode. Okay. So I love pointing my little medical tape finger.
I hate
it. So I just kind of, the Phillies were in town to play against the Mets. I don't want to talk about it. It was a disastrous series for the Phillies. Swept by the Mets. Hats off to a good team. But Jeeves is telling me I shouldn't even say that. But anyway, I knew they were coming to town, and I was like, oh, I want to go to the game. I just threw it out to...
Take me out to the ball game.
Take myself out to the ball game here. And so I threw it out to a big old group chat we're in, just saying, like, does anyone want to go to this Phillies-Mets game? And, like, 10 people said yes.
Yes.
And I was, first of all, shocked by how many people wanted to go, because I was like, people think baseball's dead.
No.
But yeah, everyone said yes. A lot of people said yes. So then
people were eager to show generosity for your baseball team.
And it was a time for me to flex my organizational skills. So I, got us a bunch of tickets, and like multiple people were like, thank you so much for organizing this. Like, I'm so glad we did this. I think like Chris Mangine said something. Dan said, like,
it's really nice.
But like a lot of people like expressed genuine gratitude for like organizing it. And I was
I'm sorry I didn't.
Oh, it's all right. This was a setup. But I just was like, first of all, maybe I need to, like, people seem to be shocked that I organized something.
No.
And like, because I think I'm very much like oh, someone invited me to something, I'll go do it.
But you bring a lot of value when you show up.
Sure, but, like, there is a lot of
It's
value
really
in being
nice
the
to-
one to, like, organize and not put that on other people.
Totally. And it's like
Um,
a great way to care for others. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice if we all hung
If we
out.
did this today. And,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I think it's because I'm an introvert that I don't really, like, it's not my instinct to be like, what if we did this
Yeah.
today? I'm kind of just like, well, whatever plans come to me.
No, right.
But, like, I think part of friendship is making plans.
Love that.
But I also just, it was, like, nice that people, like organized fun
Yeah.
after work. So that
Totally.
kind of was romantic to me.
And having attended your event.
My event. I'm the chair of the Mets Phillies game outing.
It was really romantic in execution, too.
I literally just bought 10 tickets.
We were all, no, it was so romantic. It was the last row of
Yeah.
seats in City
It was
Field.
the worst seats in the stadium.
But the best, because it was the most beautiful sunset, and
Yeah.
you could watch it across the whole city skyline.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like nights, like one of those like first really nice
Yeah.
nights of the season. Oh my God, it was romantic. It was lovely.
It was beautiful. And I will say, sorry,
$5 beers and hot dogs.
The beers were about, this big.
$5.
But yeah, $5. Also, I love Citi Field.
Yeah.
That's another thing I'm not allowed to say, but I do really love,
It's wonderful.
it's a great ballpark. And, like,
Yeah.
I far prefer it to Yankee Stadium, I'm sorry to say.
That's okay.
Yeah, it just has a better, and, like, the Mets, I can't even say this. It's like it's a curse on my team. But
Don't say it.
the Mets they have fun little ritual. It's
Yeah.
a fun team.
franchise.
Oh, sorry.
Not as fun as ours.
It's not as fun as the Phillies. Thank
No,
you.
it's not.
But they
But that
are.
apple.
The apple is fun. Thank God. I don't think anyone hit a home run.
No, we didn't see the apple.
Thank God.
At least I
Because
did.
it really hurts to see the apple, but it is really fun.
Yeah.
And they have just introduced the subway line.
Which they totally ripped
Race.
from the Milwaukee
They did,
Brewers,
you're right.
which does the sausage race. They now have like different New York.
Borough. It's the different boroughs
Oh,
are
yeah.
dressed as like a pizza slice and
A
a
taxi.
subway and a
Yeah. Yeah, no. It's City Field's good. And then you get off the 7 and you get on the boardwalk and you have the option to go one direction towards City Field or the other direction towards Arthur Ashe and like the US Open grounds. And that is very romantic to me because that's one of the best times of the year in New York City.
Yeah.
And I love one of the most romantic events that or coincidences that can happen is when there is a Mets game and the US Open on the same night.
That is very fun.
I love that vibe.
Yeah.
People streaming in both directions, bringing different energies, I would
For
say.
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. It was actually such a wonderful evening.
Yeah, it was cute how much everyone liked it. So
I
yeah.
liked it very much. It was very romantic.
Sorry to have missed.
And we missed you, but
And
you
we
was
missed
in
you.
Italy being fabulous.
Being fabulous, and we will be posting pictures of her in Italy from the Book Stupid account.
We'll be posting pictures of her tits in her little bathing suit.
Clickbait.
Okay, what is the most romantic thing that happened to you this week?
Well, okay, so mine's actually like not so nice.
Okay, yay. Dark romance.
Dark totally. It happened on New Jersey Transit during my
Oh.
commute. It was a conversation between two strangers that I only started eavesdropping on when I realized, hey, this is kind of something interesting is happening here.
It's kind of juicy.
And it was so bizarre that they were sitting next to each other because it was like it wasn't a row of 3 seats where they had a spot between them, which sometimes happens when the train is full. You'll just pop into the like aisle side seat where someone is already sitting closest
of
to the
course.
window.
Yeah.
Fine. No, this was a 2-seater where you're sitting elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
And they had a completely open 2-seater behind them. I don't know if they just got on really early in the line, but I don't know why the train would be so crowded then. It was strange to me that they were sitting next to each other to begin with. It was a man and a woman. The man I could see because he was sitting in the aisle and he was like a really tall dude. I couldn't gauge his age from the back of his head, but he shared it with this woman he was talking to because they were going deep. The woman I could not see, but I could hear her loud and clear because she had like a shrill New Jersey accent and she was like kind of yelling.
Okay.
And she's asking him like questions. I finally, my ears perk and I tune in when I'm hearing her say, well, how old are you? He's like, I'm 26 turning 27. Okay. now I'm
Yeah.
locked in. She's going, oh yeah, like, well, you're still so young. And what's romantic to me throughout this whole conversation, like, this is the crux of it. It's like his like polite entertainment of what, like, he's like very much entertaining the
Yeah.
conversation, but he's also like drawing
got
a line
boundaries.
as this woman is like trying to puncture every wall he builds, and it's like unreal. But he the whole time is like gentle and nice with her, but I'm like, this woman's being crazy at you. And I hear her say, my husband, my husband, my husband. A few times, like, if you're trying to name drop your husband so many times to make him believe you're not hitting on him, he's not working for anyone on the train, lady. You're hitting on him. But
Yeah, really, he's like, this is confusing because you're actively hitting on me.
actively hitting on me.
Bringing up your...
But he was trying to tell her he was on his way into the city to meet up with a girl that he wants to date.
Oh.
They've known each other for 3 years, and he really wants to date her.
Romantic.
So I'm getting, right, he's romantic.
Yeah.
And we're getting like a really intriguing, but you can't get a word in edgewise because this lady keeps going. Okay, so he's like, I really want to date this girl. She's doing grad school in the city. She's also working. She's so busy. Like, she's told me straight up, like, she doesn't have time for a guy to waste right now.
Yeah.
Like, so she's like not super interested. And I know that about her, but I also think we could be something great. And this woman is going, she is a fucking idiot. And he's like, no, like, I get where she's coming from. She's so busy. And what I like about her is that she is so fiercely independent. The woman goes, the fiercely independent ones are the ones who most fiercely need to be coddled and cradled. Uses that phrase, coddled and cradled. I'm like, thinking about intervening because I need to make sure that this young man does not take her word for it. She at one point says, girls don't know what they want. Girls don't know what they want. They'll tell you one thing, do the opposite. Now we're in weird consent territory.
Yeah. Women of that generation say really sexist stuff.
Oh my God. He's like, no, I actually love this about her. That she's like, you know what? You know, she's your age, this girl. He's like, yeah, she's so again, listeners, that is 27 years old. She goes, in 2 years, she'll be looking around thinking, yeah, 2 years from now, I can get a man. He won't be there. She'll be looking around. All the seats are taken. What are you talking about?
2025.
29 years old and all the seats are taken? And he's like, yeah, no, like, I don't know. She's like, no. And then she'll realize, yeah, you can have a job, but all that matters is the home and the family you built. What? And this kid, again, he's like being really diplomatic, and he never makes her feel this like insane woman feel rejected. But he's like, well, sometimes it swings like too far in the other direction. Like, my mom doesn't get on the train. Like, she won't come on the train into
She
the
doesn't know how to ride the train.
Yeah, it's like sweet that he's kind of like, clearly he shares a sensibility with the girl he's pursuing, not the crazy lady next to him. But he sweetly was like, there was even a moment last week where I bought her flowers and I was like on my way over to her place, and then I chickened out because like I want to respect what she wants. I don't want to push it. Like, I want this to work, so I want to meet her when she's ready. Like, which is so sweet. He's like, even, you know, like, I met her in the city last weekend. Like, I was like, I'd had a few drinks. I even fell down some stairs. The lady next to him goes, oh, you're 26. You bounced right back. What?
Foaming at the mouth.
She loves that he like can fall downstairs without injury.
That's disgusting.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
disgusting.
Oh yeah. And then he goes, yeah, but you know, like, then I meet up with her. She'd been out with her friends, and
She also fell down the stairs.
He's like, I made her miss her last train, so we're sitting like outside Penn Station, and I'm just thinking like, God, I just want to tell you like how I feel about you.
But she knows, the friend. I'm so invested in this. It's crazy.
And she does know. And then he's like, you know, but like then this guy kind of got involved, like a guy who was on the streets, and he was kind of harassing us, and you know, I didn't want to have to, like, hit him in front of her.
What?
I'm like, maybe the guy's fucking crazy too. But the woman goes, you should have. You absolutely.
Can I watch?
Literally, she's like, she would have loved that. I, like, should have tapped on this guy's shoulder, like, forget everything that lady said to you. Anyway, it sounds like the girl he's interested in does not want to date, but it's sweet that he's, you know.
It's sweet that here's my thing is I'm worried that he's avoidantly attached. I worry that if she weren't so Miss Independent, that he wouldn't be so
smitten.
But perhaps I'm 30 and jaded.
No, you should have been sitting next to him.
Yeah.
And actually there were two therapists talking, like, 2 rows back, because I'd initially been eavesdropping on them.
Yeah.
Because my ears were piqued by them because they were having the most, like, thoughtful, rational conversation with one another about work. And I was like, who are these people? And then it became clear their work is therapy.
Like, they're healed. Okay, got it.
Got it. Yeah. So I agree. Like, maybe he's just...
But I love that my takeaway from this is that he, like, has this beautiful perspective on women.
Even at one point, he, like, showed a picture to the crazy lady next to him, and she's like, God, you're beautiful together. But she'd now heard enough about how this woman wasn't interested in the man she was interested in. So she goes, well, she's a beautiful idiot. And he goes, no.
She's in grad school.
But how, like, low was my bar that I was like, great that he said no. That's good.
To this insane woman.
Yeah, we finally make it to Penn Station. I'm like, literally, I don't care what happens to any of you. But he stands up and I see the woman for the first time. She's younger than I expected. She's in her mid to mid-30s.
Oh, no.
Late 30s.
Yeah.
She's wearing really short shorts. She's got a crushed Red Bull in her. I'm like, hell yeah, bitch. Back it on her. You got me right back on board. Yeah. So that was the most horrific thing that happened to me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now I love both of them. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
And thank you, New Jersey
you
Transit.
Have such good train stories.
Observe and don't judge. Judge. I judge the hell out of them.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. All right.
Okay, so just to prep us for next week, we are going to be, as we've talked about, talking about writing it as we continue, but also doing some other fun things. And so next week, we're going to be talking about Emily Henry's new book.
Yes.
Great, Big, Beautiful Life.
Yep. We're going to be looking at it for best practices.
Yes.
We're going to reflect on different successes and failures within. And we'll talk to you then.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Bye.
Good night.